It's going to be big, though. You just wait for it.
It's going to be on the new PS9 commercial.
Yeah, PS9. Like the virtual reality PS9, that was awesome.
What was it?
The future starts now.
Kaz Hirai posted up on Twitter. He was like, here's your PS4, and it's a loading screen.
Nice.
Did he do that?
Yeah.
Dude, there was like so many gifs of Kaz Hirai. I love Kaz Hirai. He's just fantastic.
You better announce a new Ridge Racer.
It's Ridge Racer. Woo! Ridge Racer.
Makes it on every system.
And it's the same game on every system.
Well, they did try something different, right? But
they did Unbounded, which was like kind of like Burnout, but it didn't have the Burnout feel to it.
Just go back to the original Ridge Racer.
Yeah, exactly. Just start doing 360s without turns, because that's what you did in all the Ridge Racers.
Okay. I didn't play those stupid games.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm better than that. All right.
Don't laugh.
No laughing allowed. Hey everybody, welcome back to That's Ult, the show that brings console-starved gamers together to talk all things geek. I'm your host, Jordan Wade. With Sony's upcoming next-gen announcement, we decided to discuss on this episode our hopes and fears for Sony and Microsoft's next systems. With me this week, I have Miss Kelley CK, the man of 1,000 names, JD, Journel S3 prototype, and of course, Marcus, TheOnlyTigger.
Yeah, I don't know about you two, but I'm going to say something.
Oh, this is a talking show?
Yeah, we do that here.
It's not the artist, okay?
I was told not to laugh, so I just figured I
that might have not.
No, it didn't work.
Break rules.
Bad reference.
kind of a rebel, so.
The Ultimate just got better. PlayStation 9. Teleport yours today.
Well, anyways, as I said, we do have a big announcement from Sony coming up this week, and so that kind of sparks we've been thinking about next-gen consoles for a while, but now it seems like it's finally coming. Like, it might be this year, maybe beginning of next year, I don't know, but regardless, we have something finally to look forward to that we can grasp onto, and I want to go through and, ask, what we're kind of looking forward to. Marcus, what's the thing you're hoping for most out of next-gen?
That Xbox finally adopts Blu-ray.
That's,
nothing. There would be times with certain games, like take Final Fantasy, Lost Odyssey. It's like, really, I got to go through like 3 or 4 discs for this game. It's like, I don't want to have to switch discs. I got to load up the first disc to load the title screen and switch to disc 3 to get back to the part where I'm at. I'm like, no, that can't happen.
Well, yeah, Mass Effect had the hot swapping of disc, Yeah. It's just like,
they finally got smart with some of the games, and one's single player, one's multiplayer, but I shouldn't have to switch discs.
No.
I didn't realize the trials and tribulations of Xbox
360.
There's
trials and tribulations. I love the system, but it's a lot more work than I want to put into it,
No, I'm a Sony darling. I don't do that. I'm not proud of it, but I just stick to one. I can't.
Classy words for darling.
Yeah.
I can dabble in all types.
Keep it classy,
JD, what about you?
I'm hoping, they did announce it, but the PS4 actually had multiple logins per one console. Xbox you could have up to 4 people play at the same time.
Right.
PS3 currently, right now, you only can have 1 person logged in. Some games it's supported, but I hope they do full support for all the PS4 games coming up. That's what real party games are really. It's just, having your own login, playing with your friends.
Also, if it's like a console that's being used by everybody in the household, everybody kind of wants to have their own, gamer tag and stuff like that, and to have to share one kind of defeats the, the purpose of being your own unique gamer. So, I don't personally ever use it all that much unless somebody comes over and wants to make their own thing. But I do understand there is a need for multiple, individual IDs on a console. Kelley, what about you? What are you looking forward to most?
I'm looking forward to having a new system, but I'm also kind of looking forward to just the fact that they're going to be updating it. I've heard rumors that they want to make it more of a home entertainment system, which would be nice because that is my home entertainment system right now, especially because I don't have cable. Like, I just use my PS3 to watch Netflix and Hulu. So I'm interested to see how they're going to expand that and make it more of a home entertainment system versus just solely a gaming system. So.
Well, kind of going off of that, the thing I'm looking forward to and hoping will happen is industry analyst Michael Pachter has said that he believes there's a possibility that maybe with just this generation of consoles, with them becoming multimedia devices in the past generation, maybe we'll see subsidized boxes through our cable providers. And obviously, just from a price point, just based on price point, that would be more alluring to everybody. If you could get a system for like $100, $150, and then pay a monthly fee, I think that's more attractive and more easy to stomach than having to spend the $400, $500 right off the bat. So for me, I hope that's the case, because if I'm going to be using it for Netflix or Hulu or even like HBO Go or something like that, it would be nice to be able to have that as my cable box. So it's all in one place.
Yeah, or especially even like with Microsoft working with like Xfinity with Comcast and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Even in, I think it's in Europe and also in Australia, they're using the PS3 as a DVR box already.
Okay.
As their internal, I think it's Sky TV that they're using. But I mean, we don't have that here because of Xfinity, because the whole movement on full stream and all.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out so well in this demographic. Hopefully the next systems they will do better.
Yeah, but
Do you know what she did for fun when she was your age? She pushed a hoop with a stick.
But I want to play.
With a stick.
I've been waiting.
Stick.
But also with the hopes, we also have fears of these consoles. And I know something that's kind of sparked much debate in recent months is that Sony did file a patent to be able to block the use of used games on their consoles. Kelley, I think you might have something you might want to say on this front.
I mean, I've read different blogs and different websites talking about this, and it really just, I know when they patent things, it doesn't mean they're going to do it right away, and I really think this isn't the right time to do it. I think there would be such a huge outcry. I mean, they really rely on, especially GameStop, who is the front runner for used games, to sell systems and sell all the accessories, so to kind of screw them out of their profit would kind of defeat the purpose of them coming out with a new system. So I could see why they want to do it. I know it's just a issue of selling games and not selling enough, but really maybe they need to step up their game, because I think a lot of the issues, a lot of games come out that no one really wants to play, and they'd much rather wait until it's cheaper and wait until it's affordable and instead of spending the $64 right off the bat. I mean, that's a lot for some people to stomach, especially on a game they're not that excited about. So I hope they wait on it. I don't think now's the right time to do it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement there. Marcus, I know you do trade in quite a few games, so it'd probably be take a hit to your wallet if you weren't able to do that.
I mean, I think with the whole trade-ins and the trying to get rid of like the used game itself it would be a bad move on their part, you know, especially like with the way that the trade-ins work at games like at places like GameStop and like Games Plus or any of the other places. It's people would be bringing in their old stuff to buy the new stuff, and if you get rid of that for the new system, then you basically kill an entire possible market of stuff for your system.
Yeah, that's true. I completely forgot about that front too. So
and people wouldn't want to get rid of anything. It just makes it a risky endeavor for them. I mean, I can understand they want their cut, but you can't let greed kill your potential buyers.
I think if that's the case, then they need to focus on bringing more titles to the PSN network to download and wait maybe until it's been out for a while and make it a cheaper price, which I know they do now, but they don't do it for every single title. So I think if they're going to implement the patent, then they need to focus on bringing that to people who aren't going to want to spend the full $64.
And I think it takes being able to have widespread broadband internet, and not everybody has broadband internet yet. I think you can implement the ability to stop used games if everybody's able to download games as well, if they have another option to do so. Which brings me to another question. If that's something I'm hoping to look forward to. We've had, with each console generation, we've had bigger leaps to online gaming or online shopping and stuff like that through the consoles. And a big success story is Steam on PC. And I wonder if and I'm going to throw this to you, Journel, do you think that Microsoft and Sony can compete with what Steam is offering? Because Steam is a juggernaut right now.
Oh, Steam has been at it for years. They've been at it since, the early 90s. Digital downloads right to your PC. You don't have to go to the store for it. And I see Xbox's online formula crumbling. They're not focusing on games anymore, or at least on this console right now. They may do it differently on the next console, but I see PlayStation taking notes off it. Without the membership portion of it, they're doing weekly deals. They're doing, with the membership you get cheaper prices out of it, which makes it a lot of really, really affordable. for the people that don't have PlayStation Plus, it's totally worth it. The 12 games right off the bat, plus a new game each month. I mean, it pays in its own. But will it compete with Steam if the prices came down or was affordable at day one? Then I could see taking, you know, the Juggernaut game that I want and download it, and I'll be satisfied with a $40 price tag versus a $59 price tag.
Right.
I mean, for instance, DMC just came out a couple weeks ago. I was really, really hyped about it. I was like, you know, I could just download the game here, but the question is the game going to be good? Am I going to be satisfied with the $60 price to actually find out that it's a bad game, and I'm going to feel stupid because I can't trade it in?
Right.
There's no buyer's remorse when you do it digital online.
Yeah.
I'm a Vita owner also, and I download all my games on the Vita, but I make sure that, you know, this is what I'm going to buy. This is what it is. Going with Steam, you know, you buy games, $1, $2, and they're full packages. And it's either you forget about it or be like, oh, you know what, it's just a PC game. I'm happy with that. And if the gamers could actually take that kind of light and transfer it to consoles, I think PlayStation's got it right up the alley.
Well, as you said, I've been really happy with my PlayStation Plus membership. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that most of my friends play on Xbox Live, I would drop Xbox Live altogether.
Same thing with me.
But the PSN store is so much better. Like you said, there are sales regularly, which does remind me of Steam. And if they can continue it on with maybe with new games, dropping, you know, having it be a bit cheaper to download new games off of the internet as opposed to going and buying a physical copy, then I think that makes it better and makes it closer to what the Steam model is. But it will be interesting. They also Sony did buy Gaikai in the past couple years, and they're a streaming service, so it's interesting to see how they might implement that in the next generation of consoles.
It's amazing when learning brings this much laughter, and TV is something you can play.
I guess the next thing I want to ask is, and this is just kind of a personal question of mine, motion gaming was a big deal for this past generation, obviously. I mean, we kind of initiated it. I mean, motion gaming's been around for a long time, but the Wii made it a big deal, and then you saw copycats with, you know, PlayStation Move, and to a lesser extent Kinect. Kinect was kind of its own thing, but regardless, it was motion gaming. Do you all think that motion gaming still has a place in the next generation? I mean, I think it's going to be there, but do you think it's going to be as widespread and as popular as it was last time around? I guess I'll go to you first, Kelley.
I think it's definitely going to be implemented still. I've heard rumors about the new controller for the PlayStation kind of being like the Vita, where it's going to have a touch screen, and I feel like they want to keep up with that because it's really kind of catering to the younger generations who grew up knowing the touch screens and the gaming that involved, you know, the Wii and the Kinect and PlayStation Move. So I think it's definitely going to be there. I don't know if it's going to be as big and relevant as it was before. I think Wii's kind of made their own niche with that market, but I think they're definitely going to try and compete in some way, so we'll just have to see. Right,
and the touchscreen is an interesting thing to bring up. I mean, that's something that doesn't always come to mind when I'm thinking motion gaming, but I guess that is a fact. The way to do motion gaming is the touchpad, and with, you know, iPhones and smartphones being out there, I mean, we've all become very accustomed to that technology, so it would only make sense to kind of continue it on into the next generation. Marcus, are you a fan of motion gaming in general?
Not really. I mean, like, I have a few of my games that I like for the Kinect, Child of Eden being one of them, because it's more interactive as far as like how you control, you know, like what you're doing in the game. But then you take like stuff like the Wii, where it's just a waggle and you get a lot of shovelware out of it, like what we saw happen to the Wii, which it hit its market. And, you know, with the shovelware, they're cheap games, so of course people are going to buy them because, you know, you're walking out of Big Lots and, oh, hey, I can buy that for the kid. And, you know, you pick it up, it's $5 here. It's like, sure, why not? We'll see if they enjoy it.
Right.
Do I get private lessons?
Even better.
What is it?
Can't you read? 2 plane tickets to the U.S. On our next vacation, I'm showing you my country.
But I really, to some extent, I want it to be limited to only games that it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I see what Nintendo tried to do with, you know, like Zelda, Skyward Sword, with, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or like even to a certain extent, like the light gun games.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the Resident Evil took, you know, the Umbrella Chronicles and did those almost like a light gun game, or Dead Space even.
Yeah.
And, you know, those games do really well in that context, but I don't really want to see it brought into the new consoles. I think you're always going to have those people that just want the control, and that's where the people are that are going to spend your money.
Yeah, because those games are for the people that just want to play the controller. I feel like the kids that want to play the motion games, they're going to pick up the cheap games like you were talking about, the ones that are made for those players. So I think they definitely need to keep those separate.
And I feel that if you're going to continue on motion gaming, you got to make sure to implement it like it was promised to begin with. Make sure it's a worthwhile experience, and so that way we don't have a bunch of shovelware. And that's what I fear is that we're going to have this continuation of shovelware onto the next generation.
Which I think, to some extent, Sony and Microsoft kind of got it right, to where it's like motion controlling that involves your whole body.
Yeah.
First time I learned I could cheat at Wii Bowling, I was like, well, I don't have to stand up anymore. It's like, I remember Jay telling me a story, and we were sitting there. He's like, yeah, if you just line the remote up with the ceiling fan, and then you just kind of slightly toss it up, strike every time.
True story.
Wii Bowling, huh?
Well, I hope, they've taken note on this console generation that, it's now, motion gaming is now a genre within a genre. There's, you got your Madden players that want to play with the controller, and you got kids that want to play with the Wiimote or, with the Kinect. I hope that they become more innovative with the motion controlling altogether. I want to, like Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 4, you shake the controller, you lose your camo. I want to see that kind of deal happen with like the Kinect. If you're like sneaking down a hallway, you can't make a word in the house. If the cat drops a cup on the floor, the guy on the screen is going to hear it. You become more immersed into it rather than being a part of it, of being action oriented with it.
Right. Which I kind of see Microsoft taking a note with that with what is it, the Illuma Room?
Yeah, the Illuma Room that they were showing, it looks like a projector going onto your TV screen.
Okay.
And it shows what's off the screen illuminated around your whole room, which is it's a cool idea. It's very, I guess, beta right now.
Yeah.
But I just hope it doesn't turn into another gimmick altogether.
Right.
I don't want to. I don't want to be running in place just to run down the hallway. I want to push the controller over. But if I'm going to be dodging something, I better move out of the way.
Right.
Your natural instincts to move out of the way or be quiet or you have to do certain things, I get that.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me, oh, I have to swing the sword like this, and Link is doing an uppercut, it's not interactive. That's
yeah, it kind of takes you out of it.
Yeah.
And if you can, and then like you're saying, if you can capitalize on those moments where, like, it was like case in point when I'm playing Skyrim, if I'm in stealth mode, I find myself like breathing really quietly and stuff like that when I'm sitting on the couch. If they can implement some of that into my gameplay experience, then that makes motion gaming better. But
they did that with Splinter Cell. My buddy Ninja was telling me about it on the multiplayer. Like if you caught someone by the neck, you could whisper something into your opponent's ear before snapping their neck.
Oh, very nice.
So he would come up and he would come up to the person. He goes, "Taste the rainbow," and snap his neck.
We need more of that. And we haven't really touched on this at all, but Nintendo did have their Nintendo Direct last month, and I think feeling the heat from Sony and Microsoft, they felt they needed to go ahead and kind of let the cat out of the bag for certain titles. It makes you wonder. We look at the Wii U, and it's hard to think of it as next generation, being that everything is a technology is from the current generation. But the fact of the matter is, it is sort of next generation because it's going to be competing with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox 720 or whatever they're called. Marcus, out of the group here, I know you've played probably the Wii U more than the rest of us. With Nintendo's announcements, do you think that Nintendo is going to be able to stay viable and compete against these next generation consoles?
I think it's going to be really hard for them to stay viable, especially with their launch lineup that they had. Especially as a next generation system, being that half the stuff that they launched were all already established IPs.
Right.
And when you launch a new console, you really want to get new IPs out there. That way, so you have something new to start with. People are more susceptible to buying something new for a system that has nothing out there.
Right.
So, Zombie U pretty much being like the only game to come out, and was it the Nintendo Land, which is basically Wii Sports 2.
Yeah.
Right.
It really, I think it really hurt them, especially now that, 4 months in and they've been holding back all this stuff that they should have had ready to go in the spring.
And of course, with these announcements, they're trying to cure that by announcing, a Mario and a Mario Kart for this fall, and also Zelda Wind Waker HD as opposed to Fire Emblem Cross, Shin Megami Tensei and stuff like that, which doesn't really excite me. I don't know if that excites any of you at all.
But on some of the other end, I mean, you have games that that were promised as exclusives that you're starting to see some of the developers back out and go like multi-platform because they're like, well, the system's sitting on shelves, nobody's buying this. It's like we need to make our money back. We need to get our investment back.
Right.
So you have like Rayman Origins, which was one of the games that Rayman Legends.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to that after playing Origins, and now it's going multi-platform. Well, I'm like, here, well, shit, why the hell did I buy this?
Yeah.
It's like the only thing that I have to look forward to now is a remake of Wind Waker, and possibly some other new Zelda and Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Journel's got Bayonetta 2.
All great games.
Oh yeah, just
you still gonna rush out and buy that Wii U for Bayonetta 2? No, these games haven't changed your mind on that?
No, not at all. I mean, if I'm gonna be doing an investment for a whole system, I better be buying more than just one game altogether.
Right.
I was really skeptical about the first about Xbox altogether because it was just it was one or two games that really hooked me, and then when Gears finally came out, and Halo, I guess what was 3. Yeah, Halo 3 came out, and I started seeing the real fleshing out of the whole system. I was like, all right, cool. I made a sound investment, but 4 months in, still early to say. One key game that I really, really like, which still is questionable of going multi-platform now. I don't see myself buying a Wii.
Team, unite up! Roger! The wonderful 101!
Well, regardless of how we feel the Wii's announced lineup is, I think we can agree that Sony and Microsoft have always brought the goods. So before we close this out, I'm going to go through and ask each one of you, out of the two, Sony and Microsoft, which one you're looking forward to most with their console announcements? Marcus, I'll start with you.
I'm looking forward to Xbox, especially being that, I'm really a hardcore Gears fan. Halo, those being like some of my top franchises, and with hopefully some of the possibilities of stuff coming back, like, Crimson Skies, maybe they'll, dip into some of their reserves. I really have the most hope left for them. Okay. JD?
I'm going to go with PlayStation because they've been really up in their gears with their current console right now as PlayStation 3's getting ready to go out the door and welcoming PlayStation 4. I see a huge, not rivalry between the two systems, but you're going to see, you could get it on Xbox or you could get it on PS4, and it'll be a big jump between the two.
Okay.
Console integrations, backwards compatibility is kind of iffy, and plus I own a lot of games on PSN.
Yeah.
I paid $100 2 years.
Right.
And I've got an ass ton of games, so.
That's understandable. It's understandable. Mm-hmm. Kelly?
I'm going to go with PS4 since I've never owned an Xbox, but it's not even so much that I just grew up with Sony. There's never been a reason for me to switch to Xbox. I've never really had an interest in any of the exclusive games. I'm not really a first-person shooter kind of person, so I'm looking forward to the PS4. I'm hoping that they're gonna stick with backwards compatibility. That would be nice, but I'm definitely gonna buy it, and I'm looking forward to it. So
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna end up buying both systems, but the one I'm buying both. And I'm gonna be honest, but I have to choose one. So I'm going to choose the next Xbox just because I like what they've done as a multimedia device, and I want to continue to see what they do with that going forward. So, whatever they call it, 720, Xbox Next, Xbox 8, whatever they want to call it, I'm probably going to end up buying that one first. So,
You're going to deliver a message for me? Yeah, sure.
No way!
That's all we have for today. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at Ultness and visit our website, ultness.com. Also, let us know what you want in the next generation consoles. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on That's All.
I want my Last Guardian.
Last Guardian's not happening.
It's going to be last.
It's going to be PS last.
I was going to ask how you feel about the supposed names for PS4. What were they like?
I think we can pretty much guarantee it's not going to be PS4 because for whatever reason 4 is a bad
unlucky number.
Yeah, it's unlucky in Japan because something to do with it meaning death at the same. I don't know, but
Xbox Quad.
Xbox Quad. But what about PlayStation? What are we gonna call this?
PlayStation 3 plus Vita equals PS4.
That's it. Taped together. Look at my interactive system.
Shake it.